It's hard to deny with these cooler mornings this past week that fall is in the air. I know, technically summer isn't over until the solstice at the end of the month. But with a busy homestead like ours, I decided it wouldn't hurt to get started on planning our fall to-do list soon. We like to make one of these lists each season to both help us budget and give us focus on what the priorities are. Without it, we end up scrambling to get our feed order in last minute or end up spontaneously starting a project that might have been better suited for a different time of year. Those who know me know I am a lover of list making, and this season I decided to make a more formal one that includes both our repeating general fall to-dos as well as a space to write down our specific to this year items. The general list includes things like making sure that our wood stash is in order and prepping the kindling. I also like to do as much garden cleanup as I can, both in organizing the tools and pulling out old plants. In a perfect world, I cover the beds with mulch, or I plant a cover crop, and I make sure that any items I'll need for early spring, such as my seed starting supplies, are clean or at the very least easy for me to find. This year I have accumulated a pretty significant number of trees that need to be planted. Some are from friends, some I purchased as cuttings and propagated. Some are ones that have just sprouted up around our property and they need to be relocated. And fall is a great time to get trees in and established without them having the stress of trying to produce fruit or leaves right away before they go dormant. One of the projects I'm probably the most excited about for this fall is getting our new greenhouse up. We have a 16 by 40 kind of like long high tunnel type greenhouse from Grower Solution, and I'll have a whole bunch of videos about that as we actually start the process, but I'm very anxious and excited to have that go up before the winter time as well. My list doesn't include any of the routine or kind of daily to-dos, such as preserving bushels worth of tomatoes or processing milk or butchering the last few chickens that we have on pasture. We're pretty good about tackling those urgent tasks that are either do it or lose it. It's just kind of those other areas that I find it's better to give myself a hard list to focus on. I've shared this tip before, but I find it helpful when a lot of my to-do list has money or a specific skill required. I like to break them down into 3 different categories. The first is things that I can do that don't cost me anything or free tasks. These are jobs within my own skill set, like clearing out the garden, organizing tools, or planting trees. The next category is things that require money. We pay for everything with cash here, so keeping a budget and planning is crucial for making progress. Sometimes a project has to be delayed a few weeks while we save up, like getting gravel on our new patio, which I will share a video all about this project with you guys soon. But that's why it's nice to have the first category of our free tasks, so we have something that we can do and still make progress on and not just feel like we are waiting around while we save up for materials. The last category is something that requires skills. Here I call them my Tommy do's because he's the skilled one. I'm sure I could hang a gate or sweep the chimney if I had to, but he likes to contribute to our homestead just as much as I do. And I think having smaller tasks versus only like major projects on his list is nice for when he only has an hour or so to work on something and he just needs to get like a quick check off of the list and actually complete something from start to finish. We definitely have our work cut out for us with all that there is to do the next few months, but I'm so looking forward to the cooler weather, the beautiful foliage, and the reward of a bit more rest at the end of it as we head into winter. It's almost hard to believe that in 3 months we'll have totally restocked our freezers with another year's worth of meat. Our shelves and root cellar will be overflowed with homegrown and preserved food once again. I've thought a lot lately of how many times I have filled the same jars with food to can, sometimes multiple times a year. There's those few in my stash that are just easy to pick out and recognize, and I'll remember, oh, this was applesauce last time, or this one had pickles in it. It's a never-ending, but really beautiful cycle, this homegrown, homesteading thing. But having the variety of each season is really what keeps us going. I'm thankful to not be gardening in the intensity of June and January. Nor would I want to be butchering pigs or splitting wood midsummer. It also doesn't feel right to be crocheting by the fire when I'm canning tomatoes. Though if I had a few extra hands, I might try that last one. If you are also thinking about what needs to be done around your homestead this fall, I'm happy to share my list with you to print for free as a reference. I'll put a link in the description of this video if you're interested. I hope it helps. Talk to you guys soon.